Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from where you are watching. You are very much welcome to this special edition of the CCGC podcast. Yes, the CCGC podcast is a very special podcast that talks about Cameroonians in China, Cameroonians living in China, you know, what it takes to become, to stay here in China, doing business in China, and so much more as a Cameroonian in China. And definitely we are going to be having a special guest who is going to throw more light on all of this. I'm sure you are interested to know. For those of you people who want to come to China, you don't know how to go about it, there's going to be so much that will be talked about on this special podcast. And I will be introducing our guest right after we come back. However, my name is Gobina Charlotte and I am your host for this special edition of the CCGC podcast. We shall be talking so much more when we come back right after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you are onto CCGC TV. And yes, this is a very special program on CCGC TV, which is the CCGC podcast. Like I told you earlier, we are going to be discussing a lot more about Cameroonians in China, living in China as a Cameroonian, coming to China, and so many other things that Cameroonians would like to know. But I will not be discussing that alone. I have with me this special guest, the president himself, a man with a very heavy choked up portfolio, and this is no other person than the president of the CCGC in China. That is Dr. Hervé Huate. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shasha.
Wow, I'm really blessed. We are blessed and pleased to have you on this special edition.
I'm blessed to have you here, Shasha, with your talent. I'm sure that everything will just explode.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, yes, this is the president himself. And sir, I believe that the Cameroonians watching this program will definitely have a lot of questions in their mind. And I'll be here to ask some of these questions that I believe they will want to have answers to. But before we dive into those questions, first we want to know what CCGC is all about. And you as the president, what do you think about the CCGC, the community here in China?
Right. CCGC is the Cameroonian community of Guangdong, China. Our people have been in China for so many years. And I remember before 2008, we already had people here in China, and there were problems among Cameroonians. There were problems that challenges that Cameroonians face here in China. And there was the desire to gather people, and that desire gave birth to CCGC. So the very first leaders that we had in those days, we had Bruno, who was just like as leader of some of the Cameroonians living in Guangzhou that time. And then later on we had our community. Later on we had our community as a real association in 2014 with the first president called Honorable Kingsley.
Okay.
And then later we had another president who served the community for 4 years, Honorable William Akuma, and he stepped down in 2022. Okay. Yes, right after the COVID-19. And from that time, we had the Honorable Alain Yando, who served the community for 2 years. Just last year, 2024, we won the elections, and here we are. So the Cameroonian community, CCGC, which is Cameroonian Community of Guangdong, China, has the purpose, or has been created, to serve all those Cameroonians that are passing by or living in the Guangdong province.
Okay. Well, I will come to that, but I know we've been talking about the CCGC. There's been a beautiful introduction about the CCGC. However, there should be a little bit of knowledge about who you are as the president of the CCGC. Would like to know a little bit about you.
All right. I'm a very humble person, and I came to China in 2012 as a student, and I studied my MBA, then my PhD. I went from student to entrepreneur. Then later on, I founded a tech company that's called Winner Everywhere Technology, where I produce computers, laptop, desktops, interactive screens, and many other high-tech products. Then I founded another company for service, which is called the GT Get Through International Service. GT, it's a company that assists foreigners or anyone who is desiring to open a company in China, to have a visa extension, or willing to have a resident permit. We assist in this. We have more than 7 years of experience in this domain. We also assist people in some financial challenges that they may face regarding the business transaction with Chinese suppliers.
Okay. As a Cameroonian hoping to come to China, either to stay, to do business, to do whatever you want to do in China, it is very important for you to watch this program to the end, because you're going to be schooled on a lot of things that you might be ignorant about because you are not in China. So, Dr. Eve, I would like to, for you to tell the people, those who are intending to come to China or those who are here in China but they're not really aware, what is it that you ought to, do as a Cameroonian that just comes here in China? What is it that you would advise for them to do? What do you have to do? The first or main things that you should understand about China, what to do, to live right in China.
Great. So, the first thing is preparation. As you're living Cameroon or you're living any other country, you want to stay in China, you want to visit China, the very first thing is preparation. And it means you have to remove all kinds of false expectations.
What kind of false expectations?
Let's say some people will come to China having in their minds the idea of finding a job. Just like if you were going to the US or going to Europe, you can find any kind of job, right? Low skills jobs.
Or you're hoping that by the time you get here, your agent has found a job for you.
Yes.
To get into an office and you start working.
You have to be very careful. If you have that kind of mindset or you have got that kind of expectations about China, you better make sure that the visa you get when you live in your country or when you live in Cameroon, it's a work visa. It's called a Z visa. So if you have a Z visa and you come into China, it means, all right, you are going to get the job. You already got the job and you're just going to work when you get here in China. So people have lots of false expectations regarding work in China, or even sometimes regarding life in China.
Because they're not informed.
Yes, exactly. They're not informed. I know some people came to China with just little money. They thought everything's just cheap here. Hotels, living standard, and everything is really cheap. And they think we're coming to China with only, let's say, 1 million CFA, right? It's enough to stay, to do everything. But once they get here, after a month, they're out of money. They have no job. They have nothing else. And they start facing real challenges. So people have to clear their minds, have correct information, and good preparation as they come into China. Other things I will add here are, for example, to always use authentic documents. It's very important. Maybe to apply for work visa or you want to apply for any document in China, make sure that the documents you're getting from Cameroon are authentic. Follow the Chinese laws, be law abiding, and also try to learn Chinese before coming. If you can, or when you get here, learn Chinese.
At least a little bit of the ni hao.
Yes, at least to move around, because we have different apps here. We have different ways. China, it's really not difficult. I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it's different. Mm-hmm. It's completely different. So somebody who's coming to China, either to study, to live, or to do business, has to be really open-minded and tech savvy if possible.
Okay. Oh wow, that's a very interesting one. You touched on some very serious points, like the expectations of people when it has to do with China. You come with some, maybe some would even come with. Let me tell you, my experience. I came here with 25,000 francs, but I knew that I was coming to a battlefield, and I knew that I'm not a lazy person. I had to work. But then when I saw the reality on ground, and I'm like, oh my God, my people back home, you guys have to be schooled and informed before you come here, else you go suffer. So it's a very important point that you raised there. You have to be schooled, get the right information from the right sources before you embark on, such a journey. It's very, very necessary. Okay. So coming back, on this point of the CCGC, that is the Cameroonian community. Some people do not even understand or know that there is a community like that, like the CCGC. So what would you advise? Like, how does the CCGC, serve the Cameroonians here, in Guangdong, China?
Thank you for this question, Shasha. Actually, CCGC has been existing for 11 years now, and we've been doing wonderful jobs. Those that were here as leaders before my team, they serve Cameroonians that died here, that were sick here, that were in prison here, and we're just continuing doing this job. Just that this time, with this era, the era of digital or social media, we decided to bring CCGC online so people could know more about the community. So the better way or the best way we serve people here, by looking or assisting them when they have problems. There are always problems every single day.
Of course.
There are always problems. So people will come here and they will not even know how to read the duration of visa. They don't know how to interpret that. So 1 month later, they don't know they have to go back if they only have 30 days to stay in China. So they overstay. And if you overstay, you are already illegal in China.
You're already illegal.
Yes.
So if you have a 1 day overstay, you're already illegal.
Yes.
Because some people only realize that they are on overstay maybe like 2 days after. They're like, I've seen some people, they didn't even know that their visa is expiring. Like, how is that?
Yeah. So actually, that's why we encourage people to visit our bureau or to meet any Cameroonian who is a member of the CCGC bureau, Cameroonian Community of Guangdong, China. Any member who is part of the bureau will give you the right information. So these are the problems that people face, and we help them solve these problems. We contact the immigration, we contact the police, and we see how we can arrange for them to have the situation arranged or fixed.
Okay. Yeah, talking about the problems, for that Cameroonians do face here in China, and you being the president of the CCGC, what has been, the most common problem that has been brought on your table?
Yeah, I think as time goes by, problems are shifting. Yeah, I would say we solved so far more than 60 cases of visas. We solved about 10 cases of members that were imprisoned. And now we're having other kinds of cases that I would say are more frequent nowadays. For example, it's litigations or disputes among Chinese suppliers and Cameroonians businessmen. Yes, it's happening again and again. So these cases are more frequent nowadays. So people would come and say, okay, I send my money to the supplier. He did not send the right goods. He did not send the products, or he just took my money and vanished. So many cases like that are on our desks, and we try solving them. We even have cases about shipping for those that are doing the online cargo. They had problems with their partners, Chinese partners, and their goods were stuck in China for over 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Goods that were supposed to take only 1 week to arrive in Cameroon were stuck here for over 7 months. Fortunately, we solved the problem with the connections and the help of Chinese government. We solved the problem. They were able to receive those goods and serve the customers back home.
Wow, I know this is the very first edition of the CCGC podcast, and there's just so many questions that are lingering around my mind to ask, but we cannot, eat everything in one day. So we're going to take it gradually. So you made mention of the visa aspects, even people staying in China, they don't even know the kinds of visas that you can attain. And maybe, based on what you're here for, what is the best type of visa to go for? Maybe if you want to do business, what is the best type of visa to go for? Or you probably are there for school, or can you use a school visa to work? Or, so they don't really understand the types of visa that as a Cameroonian, you can acquire here in China. Can you throw more light on that?
All right. So there's several kinds of visa in China. First of all, for students, the students visa is called X2 visa. Those that are coming to China to study. And
how did you call it?
X2.
Okay.
Yes. So when they get the admission from universities, they're entitled to study, and they will go to the immigration, and the immigration would deliver the student visa. The student visa will depend. Sometimes some schools will give them 1 year or maybe 6 months, depending on the programs they're studying. It could be 2 years and more for those that have scholarships. Mm-hmm. That's the first type. The other one is the Z visa, which is work visa. Work visa, it's for those that are owners of companies. So if you create your company here in China, you may have a work visa and work legally. A work visa can also come from an institution. It could be any other Chinese company that is willing to hire you. If you have the skills, they can give you a work visa. And with this visa, you can work in that company. Something has to be very clear here, because some people think, okay, I got the work visa, I can work everywhere. I can do everything I want in China, which is illegal. Yeah. If you, let's say, Shasha has a company and hires...
Like I do, by the way.
All right, great. So if you hire a friend, that friend of yours will have to work in your company with that Z visa, not in another company, not doing something else that's not related to your company. Those that do that are acting illegally.
But can you say you are the owner of a company, and then you have the work visa under that company? Let's say you have a work visa under your company. You are allowed to maybe partner with others, maybe do some, let's assume, advertisements or some kinds of stuff like that with other companies. It's allowed, right?
Yes, that's allowed. Let's
partnership.
Let's say, for example, if Shasha has an advertisement company, right? So it means you're supposed to go out there, meet people, have deals with them, or work with them on several projects, right? Yeah, that's completely legal.
Okay.
Yeah, but for example, some people will have a work visa with their company, and they will go in, let's say, in a nightclub, work in the nightclub, right? So they're not employed by the nightclub, but they're working in the nightclub. So if they get arrested there, they will have penalties for that. Yeah. Or maybe somebody has a work visa in a company, for example, company A, and it's working in a school, for example. Yeah, so that's not legal.
It's not accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the types of...
Other types of visa, let's say M visa. This is a visa that Cameroonians will take quite some time when they come to China to do business. So business visa, which is M visa, will allow you to come to China, do business, just buy or go back. That's it. You don't work in China. Yeah. So it could be tricky. Some people might think, oh, as you're buying, maybe you're not working. You're just buying. You're just here for business, and you have to go back to Cameroon. They will give you maybe 30 days or 60 days, 90 days, or 1 year, depending on different options. So another category of visa here is the family visa.
Okay.
The family visa, let's say if you're a student here, you're allowed to have a wife Yes, if you have the
As a student.
as a student, yes, you're allowed to have a wife.
Yeah.
So with your wife here in China, she can get a resident permit.
That is if your wife is a Chinese.
No, even a Cameroonian.
Okay.
Yeah, even a Cameroonian.
All right.
Yeah, she can have a resident permit under your visa as a student. Yeah, that's legal. You can also get your parents, like your wife's parents, your in-laws can come. Your biological parents can also come and live in China legally under your visa. So that's called family visa. It also applies to those that have work visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is quite an interesting one, and I know that this is going to be lingering around the minds of Cameroonians. But we are going to definitely have another podcast, edition where we will buttress on the types of visas, advice on which one is best for what you're coming to China to do. However, we just wanted to, brief you so you just have an idea. Remember, information is power. Information is power, and you need to learn to get the right information from the right sources. Wow, so this is quite I've learned a lot from this explanation you've given here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and I know that we are gradually going to the end of the edition, but I'm going to like to ask another question, and this is about the challenges that you face as the president, in charge of all of these people and the various kinds of complaints that come. Are there situations that you cannot step in, or you cannot come in, or the community cannot step in on behalf of a Cameroonian?
Yeah. Regarding this question, I'm just going to say, serving needs or requires love. You cannot serve a community like the Cameroonian community without love. Because I came to some points where I was exhausted. Yes, physically exhausted. Between calls from early morning to late night. Sometimes people would call me at 3 a.m., even later, just to get information. Sometimes because they're in serious trouble. And as we have, my team and I, we have committed to serve the Cameroonian community. We have decided to remain focused and keep our promises. These are serious challenges because it takes time, energy, and money
So much
to do so. We don't get paid by anyone. We don't get any financial profit from what we're doing. We just...
So how do you then intervene in some of this, some of these cases financially? How does the CCGC, how does you, generate your money?
Oh, okay. The community also works based on some contributions that we make monthly.
Okay.
So this is something that we have been encouraging all the members to do. We encourage people to pay their 1,200 RMB per year, which is 100 yuan per month.
Is that like an annual due for every registered member?
Every registered member who is willing to get profits or all the benefits of the community will have to pay this amount of money. Let me give you some examples.
Okay.
Let's say if you only register and you pay 250 yuan, you are known as a member of the community, but we will not give you the full support. If you lose a family member, for example, like a father or mother or child, the community will not contribute for you.
Oh.
But if you register 250 yuan, you add your 1,200 RMB on top.
Which is 100 for every month.
Exactly.
For 12 months.
For 12 months. Then if you have a case like this, losing a parent or a child, the whole community will contribute for you. That's another thing that we have been explaining. If you are a full member of the community, and it happens that somebody dies, a member dies, or passes away, we will have to send 30,000 yuan.
Okay.
Yes, send 30,000 yuan to his family to support his family.
Oh.
And if the person dies here in China, we will have to put an amount of 70,000 yuan, which is like 7 million CFA. So we're going to put that amount of money to repatriate his body, to send his body back home, because it's very expensive to do so. So these are the advantages that the community is putting in place. We have many other advantages. Maybe sometimes when there's a dispute between the Chinese supplier and our member, that involves money, the community will only take 5%. But those that are not full members, the community will take 10%, even up to 25%.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of them are not really, some of them don't even know that there is an association called the CCGC. They don't even understand. And some of them who even know that there is a CCGC don't know, the works or how the CCGC serves them, how it can benefit them. They don't know. So I think this is I think it's a good clarification you're giving right there.
Yeah.
So make sure that if you are in China, if you are in Guangdong, make sure you get registered with the CCGC, because there's a lot of benefits. It's not only in times of when you lose somebody, in times of celebration as well. The CCGC will be there with you. You do not want to stay in a place and you're living like an island. I mean, nobody's an island. We need one another, and we are in a foreign land. You need one another. Be your brother's keeper, and the CCGC is there for you. Wow, thank you so much, very much. Thank you so much. But before we go, there is this conception, I don't know if I should call it a misconception or a conception, that China is a very difficult place to live in. Maybe you can throw more light on that.
Yeah, if you allow me, I just want to come back again a little bit on the previous question. Yeah, so some of the challenges that we are not able to solve.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the challenges that we're not able to solve are those related to criminal actions or legal judgments. Yeah, we are not able to solve these cases because we cannot override the Chinese authorities. We cannot prevent them from arresting somebody who has committed criminal actions. So what we can do is actually advise them, give them moral support, and connect them to some professionals like lawyers.
Okay,
and
I was going to ask if there are lawyers or there's maybe like a legal arm for the CCGC.
Yes, the community has a partnership with some lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, either Chinese lawyers or even Canadian lawyers. Yeah, whenever it's necessary, we can always call them and assist our members whenever it's necessary. So we advise people to prevent.
Yeah,
so
it's best to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, yes, it's better to stay out of trouble. Prevention is best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, looking at the last question, yeah, I think China really, it's the land of opportunity. You may come here with almost nothing and build up an empire.
Oh, of course. I have a friend who always says that China is the only land where you can come with an idea and in the next minute you're a millionaire.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I would just say is, those that think China is difficult, it's not always true, right? There's some challenges that we may face here, like I think we mentioned earlier, language, culture. Yes, these are true challenges. But if you have a mindset of a winner, if you have the mindset of somebody who's willing to adapt, learn, and work hard, you will definitely make your way.
And stay on the right side of the law. Especially because China is a no-nonsense country when it comes to, breaking laws. They don't even take it lightly. It's not like other places where you can have your man, no man. They just give a few hundreds of, thousands and you're free from the law. No, the law is after any or every criminal, anybody who falls short of the law. So please, just be on the right side of the law. Sorry, you can go on.
Yes, thank you. As you're saying, yes, nobody's above the law in China. So if you live in China, be honest, follow the law, abide by the law, and you will have your way. And also, one thing I may say, it's the challenge that lots of foreigners or Cameroonians will face here, and they will think the life is difficult, is because they don't want to make maybe friends or friendship. They don't want to build a good friendship with the Chinese or the locals. To be honest, they are helpful. They're very useful. If you speak just a little bit of the language, they will feel that you belong to China. They will take you as a brother. Okay. Even with your landlord, your classmates, if you're students, your business partners, try to show interest in the culture, the language. That will make your life easy. I know there's a strong challenge in China, which is visa, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, visa. Yeah, I know everyone in China.
Everybody, Africans and non-Africans.
Yes, everyone in China, whenever it comes to renew the visa, it's always,
a tense moment. It's a tense moment for everybody.
Yeah. And the thing it's a few people get the chance to have like a long stay, a long visa in China. Usually they will give you 1 year or 2 years. Some people will even have less than a year, and you have to renew all the time.
All the time.
So the process is troublesome, and I would say stressful for many. That's a serious challenge in China. But if you get here and you pretty much, mind open, business like, you can turn 1 million into 100 million.
Wow. You can tell I love money. I'm sorry, but I really, really love money. And I'm doing everything possible to not stay broke. So you must work. Matter of fact, when you even come to China, if you see the way the Chinese themselves are hustling, you'll be so ashamed. You just need to work because you have to pay, your bills. You have to pay your feeding. There's a lot you have to do. So you must work. And the beautiful thing is there is always an opportunity to make money. Even if you're not a business person, if you come from Africa, you have friends, you have contacts, just anywhere you go. This is how I started. Everywhere I went to with my friends, I was just, doing the big girl thing. And they're like, no, Charlotte, every time we go into the shop, just, you have a following back home. Take pictures, post before you know it. And today I have Lioness Trading. And I have, fleets of followers.
Yeah.
So that is how you start. Just a picture on your status. Trust me, there's going to be, out of 1 million people, they always say that there's a customer for everything. There's a customer. If you see this bottle of water and you don't really think you're interested in something like this, there will be a person who wants 1,000 pieces of this. So do not minimize any opportunity to, showcase or put something out there that can bring you income. We need money in China. You just need it because people are looking up to you. Nobody is going to bring manna from heaven. That was back in the days. So we are just encouraging everybody to stay on the right side of the law and be pushful, be hardworking. And please, if I'm leaving out questions that you'd like for me to ask the president or maybe our next special guest, feel free to drop your comments under the comment section and we shall definitely be attending to all of those, okay? That notwithstanding, we shall be taking a short break and we shall come back to conclude right after the break. Thank you and stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. I know we've spent a beautiful time together and I don't feel like ending this right now, but we are definitely around the close of the first edition of the CCTV podcast. And again, we have had our special guest on the program, the president of the CCGC, the Cameroon community of Guangdong, China, which is Dr. Hervé Kwate. This man is a box of knowledge. His portfolio is this heavy, this big. You can tap a lot from him. So you just stay tuned because we shall be dropping other episodes on the CCGC TV. Okay. And sir, before we let you go, I believe that you have 1 or 2 things to tell the people, the Cameroonian people here in China and the Cameroonian people back home that are intending to come to China. So what conclusive statement do you have for our people?
Yes, thank you very much. Shasha, we had a wonderful time. I myself don't feel like we have to leave this place, but we're going to have more opportunities. Yeah, my team and I, we have developed many pages of topics that we're going to be discussing on this CCGC podcast. So you have the opportunity to discover lots of rich programs. To end this, what I'm going to say is dream big. Yes, dream big. Everything is possible. If you look at the way Elon Musk is leading the world today, traveling and to Mars, we should dream big. When I came to China, I would say 13 years ago, things were not like this. WeChat did not even exist. And look at what WeChat is, an app that we use here in China, just like WhatsApp. And in just a few years, it's been the center of everything in China. You have AI, the artificial intelligence. You have technology that is rising. So I would just tell to all the Cameroonians that are living in China to learn quick from what is going on in China and to be ready to transfer it back home. And to those that are back home, I will tell you, there's a powerful community, the CCGC community. I think it's even the strongest, the biggest, the most powerful community of the Cameroonians living abroad, the diaspora Cameroonians living abroad. So try to connect with us. Let's see what can be done together. We are here in China. We see what's going on in China. You are in Cameroon. Let's work together. We also invite the government to always look at diaspora, to work with the diaspora, because we understand how policies are made here in China. Policy makers push things up in China. We see how technology is moving on, how the world is being transformed. But when we look at the situation back home, it's not the same. It's still stagnating. But we are ready and we are willing to come and give a hand to lift up our continent, our beautiful and lovely country, Cameroon.
Wow. That is coming from the president. The way he carries himself, the way he talks, the things that are coming out of the words that are coming out of his mouth. You just already know why he is the president. It takes a lot of knowledge. It takes a lot of, maturity. It takes a lot of someone who has a lot of knowledge to be able to handle such a position. And every time I talk with Dr. Eve, I leave with something. So I never want to let him go. That notwithstanding, thank you very much for gracing the program with your presence. I've been blessed. I believe the viewers themselves, they have been blessed to listen from you. And ladies and gentlemen, you know that the CCGC, the aim is to, better ourselves here in China. You may want to talk about your business. You may want to have us talk about your business. You may want to, because we're going to be having those, talking about business in China, encourage people who are doing businesses here as well. So you can always reach out to us and we can, help you put it out there. And who knows, you might just have some millionaire somewhere reaching out to you for your services. Thank you very much for staying tuned right up to this point where we have come to the end of the very first edition of the CCGC podcast, and I have been Charlotte Gobina, your host. I am leaving you and I'm hoping to meet you again in one piece. Thank you very much. I love you. Bye-bye.
This edition of the CCGC podcast is highly sponsored by CCGC, the Cameroonian community of Guangdong, China.